Hi, Cleo.
Home cat.
Um, well, hi. As mentioned in Bill's Jaguars, for anyone who missed that, we are on a bit of a time crunch this morning. It is Sunday morning as we record this. I have work at noon, uh, so we just kind of have to rifle through these, which sucks because we're talking about my favorite team in the entire NFL. Um, Niners Eagles. Oh boy, are there weaknesses on the Niners that the Eagles could really exploit.
Yeah.
Uh, but Kevin Patullo exists. So let's talk about that.
That's one that people are talking about for this game is what the Eagles offense is going to show off. And frankly, I don't know if that's going to matter because of what we saw, what happened to the 49ers last week when the Seahawks went to Santa Clara and then absolutely smothered them. Um, and the Brock Purdy coming back is huge, right, obviously, but it's still apparent that Christian McCaffrey is the engine that can start this offense and that can really get it going. And I think that the key for the Eagles this week is going to be exactly that. It's going to be how to stop CMC.
Yeah, I mean, people will remember the 2022 NFC Championship game between these two teams. The key then was stop Christian McCaffrey. Obviously and unfortunately, both Brock Purdy and Josh Johnson got hurt in that game. So it was not really an even playing field after kind of the first quarter. But also, don't block 2022 Hassan Reddick with a third string tight end. It's a bad strategy. Um, and to that end, don't block 2025 Jalen Phillips with a third string tight end. I don't want to hear about Brock Purdy getting hurt again. Um, but the Niners have been really, really good. And I don't know if you've seen anything about the way that these two teams have been talking about each other. It seemed in 2022 and 2023 like this was the budding rivalry in the NFC. The teams that had represented the NFC in now five of the last seven Super Bowls, or four of the last seven Super Bowls. Um, and at the time, they were clashing at the top of the conference, and it looked like they were going to be in power for a long time. We didn't play each other in 2024, and it seems like it's cooled off a little bit because these teams now have a tremendous amount of respect for each other. And oh boy, am I way more scared of that, actually. Kyle Shanahan scares the shit out of me. And as much as I trust Vic Fangio, Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, the Niners are maybe the greatest sixth seed of all time. I mean, the NFC West in entirety this season are the three best records in the NFC. And that means that some division winner needs to go against the worst of the three by record and tiebreaker, which is the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yep.
Fortunately, though, you do get them in your own house, which does make a huge difference, especially when you're talking about going from coast to coast. Um, but I don't see this one being a high-scoring game. I need to put that out there. I don't see the 49ers offense being able to do what they have been to a lot of teams, especially since getting Brock Purdy back. And I think that the Eagles are going to succeed in containing Christian McCaffrey and Brock Purdy. I mean, the 49ers offensive line this season hasn't been the as dominant as we have known the 49ers offensive line to be over the last pretty much in a Shanahan era. And I think that that's going to be the huge, similar to Jacksonville and Buffalo. This game is going to be one in the trenches. These are two teams that take a lot of pride in their ability to own the trench. But I think the Eagles are just going to be better at it on both sides of the ball, and especially on defense. I don't think that the 49ers are going to be able to stop Jalen Carter, the duo of Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. And I think Christian McCaffrey is see the Eagles taking it 20-17 in a low-scoring defensive slugfest.
Yeah, I mean, that's been the calling card of this Eagles team. There is a very, very small, incredibly delusional part of me that is hoping, uh, just praying, that Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni have been holding out on me. And that, because it looks at times, like for 30 minutes at a time, it looks like they have this offensive scheming thing figured out. It's going to help, going back to the trenches, it's going to help the Eagles' trenches that Trent Williams is a game time decision. If he plays, he won't be 100%, and that's huge. And if he doesn't, the Niners have arguably the worst offensive line in the playoffs. And Nolan Smith is a playoff riser. We don't know what Jalen Phillips is going to do, but we know that Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Nolan Smith show up in the playoffs. We know Jalix Hunt shows up in the playoffs, and in fact, he led the team in sacks and interceptions this year. So we know that Brandon Graham is a playoff riser. This is a really, really good Eagles defense. The All-Pro list came out yesterday, and the Eagles have 2 first-team All-Pro corners. 0 first-team, actually 0 All-Pro offensive linemen. So go back to 2018 and tell me we were going to have 2 All-Pro corners and no All-Pros on the O-line. I probably would have shot you. But it should be a really, really entertaining game. And I am just... I'm rooting for my boys, obviously. Chicago won last night, which means if we win, we will have to go to Chicago. But that's a team that we know at this point, and our defense shut them down the first time, and God, I hope our offense does better the second time. But even as a Rams fan, you don't like the Eagles. So I imagine this is a pretty interesting game for you to pick who you're rooting for.
And to me, who I'm rooting for, I don't like the Eagles, but I have a lot of respect for the Eagles. I have a lot of respect for the players. I have a lot of respect for Vic Fangio. I don't really have any respect for Nick Sirianni or Kevin Patullo. But I have a lot of respect for the Philadelphia players. And visibly hate the 49ers. Wanting them to lose on a weekly basis has unfortunately been a very much of a failure of a hate watch this season because they just haven't lost a lot. But at the same time, if the 49ers win this game, the Rams play the Bears. If the 49ers lose this game and the Eagles win, then the Rams play the Seahawks. And that's the kind of lens that I'm looking at this game through, is who would I rather play in the divisional? And I think my answer is I don't have any idea, because the Rams and the Bears haven't played each other in 3 years. And the Seahawks are hot still, and the Rams are still not hot. So that really concerns me. But I think for the purpose of seeding, I would rather the 49ers win this game and then the Seahawks blow them out in the divisional.
Yeah. You and I are in the same position of... actually, you and I are not in the same position of wanting 3 NFC West teams to advance. I would love for the conference championship to not just be 2 NFC West teams slugging it out. I'd like you to kill each other off in the divisional round before I have to deal with either one of you. And on that note, I am rooting for LA in Seattle should the Eagles win this game, because I would really, really like a home NFC championship game. Because, fun fact, and the last fun fact I'll share before we sign off, Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni have never lost at home in the playoffs. They have been blown out twice on the road, and they lost in Arizona during the Super Bowl, but they have never lost in Philadelphia in the playoffs. There's a first time for everything, but I have the Eagles winning this one 17-13. It's going to be low scoring. It's going to be a slugfest. It's not going to be particularly fun to watch, I don't think.
I think this one's going to have you on the edge of your seat, and is going to have your heart at over 100 beats per minute for 3 hours straight, which probably isn't good, but if you think about it, it's good cardio. So
that is true.
But yeah, I think the Eagles are going to take this one. It's going to be close. It's going to be. I expect this game to be ugly in the way of there's probably going to be a couple ugly turnovers. There's probably going to be a few ugly penalties. This one's going to be as dirty as a playoff game can get. At the same time, I love that kind of football, so I'm excited to watch it. And for you, I hope your team moves on.
Yeah. Well, it is a pleasure, as always, to do these with you. All of our social medias are linked down in the description below. If you have any notes on this format, or if you'd like to see us continue it for our circled games of the regular season, leave a comment down below. And please consider subscribing if you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much, and we will see you for Chargers Patriots.